How can we define sustainability principles? Well, why is sustainability a problem? Because we are destroying the planet. So we went on asking, by what basic mechanisms do we destroy it? And we realized the following four. Number one, we are gradually behaving in a way that allows mined materials that were originally in the Earth's crust to systematically increase in concentration as waste in the system. We never say that. Instead, we say fossil carbon dioxide and climate change, phosphates in lakes, cadmium in kidneys. And we go on adding stuff amongst the leaves of interrelationships. And we send scientists out to conferences, and the ones working with climate change don't meet toxicologists of kidneys. They have different conferences. So the basic flaw of design of society is never put on the table. We organize ourselves such that mined materials are allowed to systematically increase in concentration. And that's inherently unsustainable, and all scientists agree. Second, we don't only destroy the system like that, which we will not continue to do in the future, of course, by mined materials. We produce compounds ourselves in such amounts and such qualities that they too increase in concentration. So it's not only a net input of elements that cause a systematic increase of waste in the system, but it's combinations of elements in our production processes and incineration processes and so forth. But we never say that. Instead, we say PCB, DDT, dieldrins, freons, phthalates, chlorparaffines, bromine organic anti-inflammables, dioxins, and we send out scientists to look at each of those one by one because they do different impacts. And scientists who are looking at eutrophy don't meet the scientists who are looking at the erosion of the ozone layer, but it's the same flaw. We ask the wrong questions. So chemicals too are systematically increasing in the system. Number three, we are not only polluting the system more and more, which is what is sustainability, by two different mechanisms. We are also removing the system physically with bulldozers, chainsaws, asphalt, and far too large fish boats. But we never say that. Instead, we say deforestation in Brazil, or we add some components of that we are aware of, some monocultures here or there, not so much on our own home yard. Instead of systematically looking at it, are we or are we not gradually removing the system physically? And the fourth element is that we are systematically eroding the social glue, the glue between people, the stories of meaning, which is actually the trust between people. That's what we erode by not ensuring that people get their needs met at a global level. Not only in our families, not only in our companies, but even the supply chains from Nigeria. We don't even ask the question. So growing geopolitical tensions and anger is growing in the system, and we are declining in trust between each other. So by just studying the system at that bird's eye level, it was impossible to arrive at the scientifically and verified, robust definition of sustainability. When Dublin is sustainable in the future, or Stockholm, or Bank of America, they don't contribute to violating that first principle, that second principle, that third principle, or the fourth. We have tried over and over again to identify some kind of sustainability impact that would not be related to any of those, or that would not be triggered as an idea of fantasy in a group session, and we have not yet come up with some, but if we would just add that principle. It doesn't change the way of thinking. We have needed, since this is a scientific consensus process, to change the phraseology many times, because in science we don't vote. It's enough with one scientist to come up with a flaw. This is a flaw, and then the whole world had to change, and that has happened 4 extremely painful times. But this is what we have today, and the basic elements were still virtually the same, but it has been refined in that process.